unknown numbers, please stop calling me. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So it is that time of the year again where I pick out and share with you all my favorite products. Today's video is going to be focused on drugstore products. High-end will be coming soon. I cannot believe it's 2019 already. I've lived in Sydney for a year and a half now. I'm still deciding whether I should stay for longer or move to Brisbane. It's stressing me out, so if I seem stressed in this video, that's why. It was a roller coaster of a year. I'm kind of glad to see 2018 go. I do have some big plans for 2019. If you guys didn't know, I started a second channel. That one's more like lifestyle and DIY. So if you're into that sort of thing, go check it out. I'll have a link in the description box. But yeah, today's video is going to be my favorite drugstore products of 2018. I do this thing where I sometimes just like mush my words together. I really need to have better dictation. Anyway, let's get into the makeup. So first up, I want to mention a BB cream. I'm pretty sure I have mentioned this in a favorites video throughout the year. This is the Bourjois Healthy Mix BB Cream Anti-Fatigue 24-Hour Hydrating. So this is a BB cream, obviously, but it has the coverage of a foundation. So it feels really light on the skin, but covers so well, and it smells kind of fruity. It smells like Bourjois foundations. They all have this like rather similar smell. At least the Healthy Mix ones do anyway. So I really like it. I'm in the shade 02 medium. What I don't like about this is the shade range. They literally have light, medium, and dark. So if you're outside of that selection, Bourjois is like tough luck. Apparently there's only 3 skin colors in the world. So I did like strike it lucky with this that it does suit me. But yeah, I would love it if Bourjois would come out with some more shades. Just because I mentioned Bourjois, I'm gonna mention another Bourjois foundation. This is the Healthy Mix Serum Gel Foundation. I love to wear this on days where I don't wanna wear a lot of makeup, but I still want a bit of like something. This does have pretty light coverage, but it's great for just evening out your skin tone. Like it's not gonna cover any pimples or blemishes or anything like that, but it does help to like keep everything even, and it adds a really beautiful glow to the skin. I think I might have mentioned that one in last year's favorites. There are quite a few things that were mentioned in last year's video, but I didn't find anything that beat them. And I don't want to mention a product just for the sake of mentioning a different product. If it's my favorite, it's my favorite. So the next foundation I want to mention was also in last year's video, so I'm not gonna like dive too much into it. It is the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Foundation. This is great if you have oily skin like myself. The coverage is great, the finish is great, and they have a much bigger color selection than Bourjois. So the next foundation I want to mention is a new one. This is the Revlon Color Stay Full Cover Foundation. Excuse the aeroplane. I wore this when I did City to Surf, by the way. Really don't understand the whole fun run thing. It was like a half marathon, quarter marathon. I don't even know how long a marathon is. Too long. And this was not as long as a marathon, and it was too long. I don't know why it's called a fun run. Never again. Running ain't my thing. Anyway, I wore this foundation when I did that, and it lasted the entire fun run and still looked great when I finished. So it wears really well, and I really like the finish, and it's also got amazing coverage as well. So I think that's it for foundations. Now let's go into concealers. This was mentioned in last year's video, I'm pretty sure. It's the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. I feel like this is the best concealer you can buy at Priceline, which is our like main drugstore here in Australia. This has amazing coverage. It makes your under eyes look flawless, and it's also great for an eye primer as well. I'm not too sure how hygienic the sponge tip applicator is, but YOLO, right? Do people even still say that, Kat? It also doesn't crease on my under eyes, so it is a massive thumbs up from me. The next concealer, you guys probably guessed this one, it's the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. I find that this one is so similar to the Tarte Shape Tape, which is my holy grail concealer, and it's a fraction of the price. It just has a little less coverage, but it's still an intense amount of coverage. So this makes your under eyes look flawless, it doesn't crease. It is very high coverage, and it comes with like a doe foot applicator instead of a weird sponge tip. Also, it's only like $9. So if you haven't tried this one yet, I definitely recommend it. Now onto powders. I feel like this powder has been in every single yearly favorites videos since I started my YouTube channel, just like 5 years ago. I've been on YouTube a long time, guys. But it is the Rimmel Stay Matte Powder. I go through so many of these every year. This is the perfect powder to set under your eyes or your eyelids. This is the shade Transparent. It's the perfect shade to just brighten up under your eyes. It stops your concealer from creasing and it lasts all day, and it's only like $10, so I really love it. and I will continue to love it until I cannot get it anymore, which hopefully will be never. Another drugstore powder I really love is the NYX No Filter Finishing Powder. I find it weird that these are both called No Filter, and then ColourPop also has a No Filter powder. This is great for setting your foundation. I find this to be a dupe of the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Naturals. It has that, like, what would you call it? Not quite satin, but it's not like a flat matte finish. So it just helps to like airbrush your skin and give you this like beautiful natural finish. It is very beautiful, but I don't really like to use this one to set under my eyes because it can just highlight any fine lines under there or any pores I have right here. But for setting my foundation, it's amazing. Then the last powder I have, I find this to be very similar to the Rimmel Stay Matte powder, but they have so many more shades. This is the ColourPop No Filter Pressed Powder. This is the shade Fair. Seriously, it's pretty much the exact same thing as the Rimmel powder. Oh no, I'm about to hit pan on this. But it's a beautiful powder to set your concealer and to set your foundation as well. I use the shade medium dark to set my foundation, and I use the shade Fair to set under my eyes. The only difference between this powder and the Rimmel Stay Matte powder is that I find this one you really have to get your brush into the pan to like pick up product, whereas with the Rimmel one you just sort of like swirl your brush in there and it's got the powder. Wow, I just realized I pretty much have ColourPop in every category. I guess 2018 was the year of ColourPop for me. So moving on to bronzer, I have a ColourPop bronzer. I'm pretty sure this shade is Life of the Party. I can't get it out of its pan. I will have it listed in the description box below, but I am 99% sure that this is the shade Life of the Party. It is just such a beautiful bronze shade. It's not a flat matte. Like there's a tiny, 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 teeny amount of like gold shimmer in there. So it just helps to add a bit of dimension to the face. It's really easy to blend, it's not chalky, and it was really affordable as well. So I really love this bronzer. Okay, next bronzer is the Max Factor Cream Bronzer. This is the shade Light Bronze. I don't know why it's called cream bronzer. It is not a cream product. It is definitely a powder. This is not a matte bronzer. It's got this beautiful sheen to it. It's not a shimmer either. It's just satin, I guess you would say. I find it really similar to the Too Faced Sweethearts bronzer, which is my all-time favorite bronzer. So this really adds this beautiful glow to your face, and I really love it. I do feel this was a bit on the pricier side for a drugstore product. I think it might have been like around the 20 Australian dollars price mark, but it is beautiful and worth every penny. The next bronzer has 3 bronzers. It is a bronzing palette by Rimmel. It is the Kate bronzing palette. I only really use this middle shade. I find this shade a bit too dark for me, and this shade is like really shimmery, so I tend to stick to the middle. But the middle shade is the perfect shade for bronzing my skin. These aren't matte, they do have a bit of gold shimmer in them, but once you put them on the face, you can't see any shimmer. It's just like a satin finish. So I love it, and it's really easy to blend as well, and I'm pretty sure it's like $12 Australian, and they also make great eyeshadows. My hair's doing that thing where it likes to stick up here. So next up is blush. I also have the Rimmel blush palette. I love and use every single shade in this palette. The top shade is more of like a light matte pink, and then the middle is this beautiful peachy shimmer shade with like gold reflex through it. It's my favorite. And then the bottom is this deep pink shade, which also has gold reflex through it. All of these shades are amazing. They're so easy to blend. They look so beautiful on the skin. And this was only like $12. So it's been my favorite the past year. I'm pretty sure this was in last year's video as well. Then I have a Then I have a ColourPop blush I've been loving as well. This is the Drop of the Hat blush. It is really similar to the middle shade of the blush palette. It's just this one is like mega sheeny. This lasts so long on my cheeks, and it's just so beautiful. It just adds this really healthy glow to your cheeks. I love it. Oh, and it's so pigmented, and I love the texture of it. It kind of feels wet, but it's not. But it's so beautiful. And being ColourPop, it's super affordable as well. Now the last blush I wanted to mention, I'm pretty sure this is a new favorite of mine for 2018. This is the CoverGirl True Blend Blush. This is the shade 100. It is just this beautiful like pink peachy golden blush. It has gold reflex through it, but once you put it on the skin, you can't notice them. And it just creates this most beautiful sheen on your cheeks. Let me see if I can do a swatch on this hand. I'm not sure if that's coming up on camera, but that's the blush there. Oh, it is so beautiful. Definitely recommend it. So for highlighters, I only have one highlighter I want to talk about. Crazy, I know, because I have so many highlighters in my drawer and I am thoroughly obsessed with highlighters. But yeah, this is the only one I've been like really obsessed with. I was gonna say from the drugstore, but it's not from the drugstore because it's ColourPop, but it's affordable, so it's in this video. This is Here Kitty Kitty. It is just the most beautiful champagne highlight. It just creates the most beautiful sheen on your skin. There's no glitter particles and it's so easy to blend and buttery and smooth. I'm obsessed with it. It actually reminds me a lot of Mary Luminizer by The Balm. Let's take a look. Oh no, Mary Luminizer is more like a yellow golden tone, but they're both very beautiful. So next up I have a few face palettes I wanted to mention. I'm pretty sure these are in last year's video, but they're really good and I didn't find anything better, and I do think they are worth mentioning in case you guys haven't seen last year's video or just need a refresher. So first up is the Rimmel Kate, what is this, sculpting palette? Yes, sculpting palette. This is in the shade 002 Coral Glow. This is a beautiful highlight, this is a beautiful bronzer, and this is a beautiful blush. Each shade is super blendable, it's not patchy, and I believe it's only $12 as well, so I definitely recommend trying this out if you haven't yet. Then the other thing I wanted to mention was the Sculpt and Glow palette by Model's Own. I feel like this is a larger version of the Rimmel palette. Like, how similar are the shades in this? But again, this is a beautiful bronzer, beautiful highlight, beautiful blush. All the shades are super blendable. You do get a nice big mirror with this palette. Oh, hi guys. You'll also get so much product. Like, these pans are very big. We're using my head as like a size reference, but it's probably not a good comparison because I have a big head. But anyway, I've been loving it. So I think it's time to move on to eyes. I think we should start off with eyeshadow palettes. I have 5 eyeshadow palettes that I have been loving this year from the drugstore / affordable places. So first up, this is probably my favorite of the lot. This is the Dream palette by Sigma. It was a collaboration with Beauty Bird. Okay, first up, you get a brush in there, and it's not a crappy brush that normally comes with palettes. It's a brush that has the Sigma E38 and E58 brushes on the end. And look at how beautiful this is. It's beautiful, and a brush that I'm actually going to keep. But this is the palette itself. It has beautiful packaging, and these shades are like all I need in life. If I'm going traveling or I'm going up to like Cairns to see my family for a while, this is the palette I take. You have beautiful highlight shades, you have a matte black, you have all these beautiful matte browns. It is a really beautiful palette, and the quality of these eyeshadows are amazing. I have like 2 of the eyeshadows on my eyes today. I've got Boo Boo in my crease and outer V, and then just Conchita on my lid, just a light wash of it. I feel like in the past I haven't been that enthused by Sigma palettes. I guess it's just been the shade range, but this palette is amazing. Good work, Sigma. Keep it up. The other 2 palettes that I have been loving are by ColourPop. They're the Kathleen Lights and ColourPop collaborations. This is the Zodiac palette. Just look at how beautiful it is. And you also get a nice big mirror in this. And this is her Dream Street palette. I'm gonna be real with you, when I first ordered these, I thought they were gonna be bigger, but they are really affordable, and they have an amazing color selection. These palettes are both very wearable, and the pigmentation is amazing. They're so easy to blend. I really love them. And also, how freaking cute is the packaging? Then the last 2 palettes I want to mention are by Milani. So I did have to get these from America. You can't get them in Australia, which I am very disappointed about. Milani, you know, we do exist down here. We're just so far away, everyone forgets about us. So I have the Bold Obsessions palette and the Most Love Mattes palette. Stop calling me. Should probably answer that. It's probably my real estate. I'll Google the phone number later and see who it is before calling them back. So my favorite out of these 2 palettes would be the Bold Obsessions palette, just because you get these beautiful transition shades, a matte black, some beautiful shimmers, like everything you would need to complete a look is in this palette. Don't get me wrong, the Bold Mattes, no, Must Love Mattes is very beautiful too. Both of these palettes are such amazing quality for the price. and the color selection is beautiful. You also get a nice big mirror. Now for individual eyeshadows, I have two, what would you call it, like product types I want to mention. Like I've only got 2 colors with me, but it's like the entire collection is my favorite. So first up is the ColourPop Super Shock Shadows. This particular shade is Amaze, which is probably my favorite of the lot. I do find some of the matte colors can be a bit hit and miss, but the shimmer shades are freaking amazing. The color payoff is so beautiful. I do find they apply better with my finger though. Not sure if you can see that swatch because I have highlighter all over my hand. But the shades are absolutely beautiful. They have amazing staying power and the price point is really affordable too. Then the other single eyeshadows I wanted to mention are also by ColourPop. These are their single pressed eyeshadows. The pressed eyeshadows apply great with your finger, but they also apply really well with a brush as well. And they're just so buttery and pigmented. I'm running out of hand space. Look at that, that was one swipe. Oh my god. I'm definitely obsessed and I definitely want to buy like every single color of their pressed powder eyeshadows. Oh, let's do mascara. I didn't really have a mascara from the drugstore that blew me away, but my favorite this year would definitely be the Revlon Ultimate All-in-One. This is the waterproof one. It is amazing for holding a curl and it just makes my eyelashes look really long and full. And I like the little brush as well. Really good for getting into those corner lashes. I thought I would hate this brush because like the bristles, they're barely existent. What is this, a brush for ants? But I do actually like it. Moving on to eyebrows, I have 2 eyebrow pencils that I want to mention. First is ColourPop. Now ColourPop has 2 different eyebrow pencils. This is the ColourPop brow pencils, the one that has the spoolie on the end and then it's got a really fine tip. Apparently their other eyebrow pencils aren't that great, but this one's amazing. This reminds me so much of the Brower's pencil by Anastasia Beverly Hills or the Precisely My Brow pencil by Benefit. But it's a fraction of the price, and this is the shade Black and Brown, which is pretty much the color of my eyebrows. The other eyebrow pencil I've been loving and is what I have in my eyebrows right now is the CoverGirl brow pencil. So you have a spoolie on one end and then an ultra fine tip on the other. This is actually the blonde shade. This is soft blonde, but I've been really liking it to just like fill in my eyebrows. Makes them not as bold. I do find this pencil to be a little bit more waxy than the ColourPop pencil, but I love it for the days where I don't want like super defined bold brows. Then the last brow product I want to mention is the ColourPop Brow Boss Gel. This is what I have on my eyebrows today and it's what like cements them into place. One thing I will mention, I do love the little brush on the end. It's very handy to get all the little brow hairs, but the product is white. Now when you see that, don't freak out. It goes onto your eyebrow hairs kind of like white. It's a little bit transparent, but you can still see the white chunks there. However, once it dries, it goes clear. Can you see any white chunks in my eyebrows? No. Now all I think that we have left is lips. And speaking of lips, I'm going to reapply my lip gloss once I find it. Something fell into the, oh there we go. This isn't from the drugstore, but it's my favorite all-time lip gloss ever right now. It's the new Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in Fussy. So for lips, I'm only going to mention lipsticks because my lip glosses and liquid lipsticks are currently in bags around my apartment because I need to declutter them. It's gotten really out of hand. So for lipsticks, I have 2 favorite brands. First up is Rimmel. I pretty much love every single lipstick Rimmel creates, especially the You're the Only One mattes, the Kate Nudes, the Kate mattes. They're all pretty much amazing and they're like $10 a lipstick. These are super buttery, super pigmented. They don't highlight any dry patches, they don't bleed. Then the other lipsticks I have been loving this past year are the ColourPop Luxe I can't talk. Like I was saying, these are the ColourPop Luxe lipsticks. In particular, this is the shade Hello Stranger. It is such a beautiful vampy matte shade. I also like the smell of these. Anyway, the formula of these lipsticks is amazing. They just glide on, they're so pigmented and they're so affordable. I would definitely recommend checking them out. I feel like I just ate half my lip gloss and now my mouth feels really weird. Kind of like I ate a stick of butter. Anyway, so those are all my drugstore favorites. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Leave me a comment, let me know what your all-time favorite product from the drugstore is, like what you can't live without, like your ride or die. Don't forget to give this video a massive thumbs up if you like it and subscribe to my channel if you guys want to see more videos from me. And I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!